Where are you going so fast tonight? Have you ever stopped beside the road to smell the rose of life? Take a breath now, don't hold it in too long, 'cause you might end up missing out on life's short little song. She's saying, ooh, you've got one life to live. She's singing, ooh, you've got one life to live. Don't let it go. Ooh, you've got one life to live. She's singing, ooh, you've got one life to live. Don't let it go. Got one life to live, don't let it go. Can you let go of it all tonight? Or will you decide to push on through and ignore the words inside? Take a breath now, don't hold it in too long, 'cause you'll find you're missing out a last short little song. She's saying, you've got one life to live. She's singing, ooh, you've got one life to live. Don't let it go. Ooh, you've got one life to live. She's singing, ooh, you've got one life to live. Don't let it go.
I just wanna change, but that seems impossible. Like I'm chained to who I am. That's why I'm wide awake, laying here in this bed, trying to find peace inside my head. Trying to sleep, but I feel like there's lead on my chest. That's why I'm wide awake, laying here in this bed, overthinking everything I've said. Overthinking, I'm replaying all of my mistakes. I just wanna change, be a better man. And I feel so lost right now, like I can never be better than who I am. I feel I just wanna grow old, have a wifey in a home, have a pot to piss in, something to call my own. But I'm terrified that I'm gonna reminisce for the rest of my life. Be 65 in my grave, still be the same man I am today. That terrifies me to my core. Please God help me to be more. I just wanna change, be a better man. And I feel so lost right now, like I can never be better than who I am. I feel change. I just feel change. I just wanna change. I just feel chained.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the seventh episode of Project Lead. I'm Haaziq from 18 Student Council, your publicity officer, your host for today, along with Garrick.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Garrick, the Vice President of the 18th Student Council, and I'm honored to be co-hosting with Haaziq on this webinar series. And I would like to once again thank the three panelists for joining us today for this discussion. So for today, we're happy to welcome on board Junyu, the Vice President of Sports Club, Petrie, the President of Capoeira, and not to forget Salma, the Vice President of Dikir Barat. Welcome once again. And for today's topic, we'll be featuring a key concept in both the working world and in our everyday life, that being diversity. Diversity can be critical in one's club and IG, and can also be used as a basis for further development. So, personally, for me, in the student council, event planning and brainstorming is something that is commonplace. And diversity to me is all about inclusion, bringing people of various different backgrounds, strengths, and skill sets together as a team to generate and challenge ideas. So, the first question for the panelists: what is diversity to you, and why is it important to you and your community?
Wow, I think that's a great start, yeah. So, what is diversity to y'all?
Okay, hi. Based on my understanding, in terms of like an IG or CCA, it will be about having people from like different backgrounds, different experiences, walks of life, like coming together to actually share the same passion in the same community. And I think it's really important to have like a diversity in the community because like with the differences that they have, they're able to actually exchange knowledge with each other and this one will eventually like help each individual grow together as a community.
Okay, as for me, diversity is important. Diversity to me is a very simple word. It's from a different people from different skill sets, mindsets, background, and talent come together to discuss or work on something. The different perspective generally offer is an advantage for having a diverse environment. Having different perspectives, skill sets, right? It allows us to accomplish bigger goals from different skill sets, and it also creates a more interesting environment in the community.
Absolutely.
As for me, diversity would be like being more accepting of others, like regardless of their backgrounds, whether it be their race, ethnicity, their beliefs, or their past experience or skills, as mentioned by both Salma and Junyu. Yeah, so like basically being accepting and welcoming to everyone around us. That's what diversity is to me.
Agreed. Diversity is truly about being more acceptive of everyone, regardless of their skill sets, beliefs, cultures, and so forth. And it allows for us to have different perspectives on each scenario, giving us a competitive advantage. Next on to Haziq.
That's right. I think having differences is good in an IG. So, I'm really curious actually. So, how does diversity aid y'all in your IG, with those differences and stuff?
As for me, I believe that with diversity, we will create a more open and welcoming environment. This would give the members all a chance to be more comfortable and not feel like they are very pressured to be in the situation. So like they are more comfortable with everyone around them, and it will be easier for them to interact. In addition to that, I believe that with people with different background in experience and skill, some members will be able to teach others. Like this would help each other. This will allow each member to help one another grow together. So like in a way, by being more accepting of these people, we would be helping ourselves develop as well.
As for me, diversity aid in the club in many ways. The one of the biggest way is we are having an ongoing project where it requires many different skill sets from us. To give example, my strength lies in scheduling and organizing the roles. So that so the diverse the situation will be a lot smoother. But one thing I'm weak at is I'm unable to choreograph any exercise videos, which another person in the club will able to do tremendously better than me. So having a different skill set and having a diverse environment allow us to create a more successful project and also allow us to have a more diverse viewpoint from everyone.
Okay, as for me in Dikir Barat, diversity helps me and my IG by like sharing the experiences and the knowledge that we have with one another. So for like example, I used to have a Malay dance background, and then a few of my other friends have like background in choir. So before joining Dikir Barat, I actually had no experience at all, and I had like a lot of difficulties to actually try to get the key and the notes right as an awak-awak. So my friends actually helped me a lot with what like I like in, and then I get to contribute also by like sharing what I've learned as a Malay dancer. So that way, like it actually helps me and my IG mates to create the sets better in a sense, yeah. And then like we grow together also individually. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I see. I think it's very interesting how diversity actually help bring about your IG forward, and that it actually y'all use these differences to actually make them into strength, and it actually helps with your IG as a whole. So, what about Garrick?
So my next questions to the next panelists are: what have you or your club done to really promote diversity?
Okay, so for DK Barat, right, we have like three departments. One is the awak, the one that clap all, and then like we have like the front man, who is the tok juara and tukar karut, the main singers, and then we have the paluan who plays the instrument. Recently, like during the COVID situation, right, we actually did online training, and then we were like wondering what can we do to make trainings like more interesting for the members. And then like many brought up they want to play the instrument instead of playing the awak-awak. And then many also brought up that they want to become the front man instead of awak-awak. So when we had our online training, we organized like online audition for the girls who wants to become the front man. And actually quite number like showed interest, about 10 of them. And like we had like a few stages of audition. And then yesterday we finally went back to school for physical training, and we managed to conduct a paluan workshop. And then also a lot of our girls get interest to play the paluan. I think that's how we managed like accommodate to the people with this like diversities in our IG. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. What the club has done to promote diversity over the years is from sports club, we will actually invite 1 to 2 people from each sports to come into the interview to be part of the selection process. So maybe like 2 from bowling, 2 from badminton, etc. This allow greater diversity in the sports club, as there are more people from different backgrounds coming together. Also in the selection process, we allow members of any role within their respective IG to join. So it doesn't necessarily need to be the captains or the presidents to join. Any members with the required skill sets can be allowed to come on board and help with the sports club.
As for Capoeira, the way we recruit our members, we will not require them to have any background or experience in martial arts. So like anyone with no experience, they're also allowed to join. Like we have no auditions or anything. With that, we're basically leaving it open to all RP students, whether they feel if they are interested by us, they are free to come attend any open classes we have, and just if they wish to continue, they are allowed to join us. Then once they join, we would instantly treat them all as part of our Capoeira family. Like in a way, we would be very welcoming to them and not segregate juniors and seniors. In this way, they will feel a bigger sense of belonging. So I feel like that will motivate them to stay in the club and continue to grow with us.
That's really interesting. Using initiatives such as allowing people who just display interest to join, and even allowing people from various different backgrounds and not just leadership positions to join clubs, is a really good take on how clubs begin to increase diversity in their own clubs and IJs. So for the next question.
Yeah, I agree with Garrick. Honestly, I feel like when you have such a diverse community, right? Since y'all are always very accepting, and that's how we should be. Do you think that with a diverse community, there will be many different like viewpoints and opinions, right? So how do you actually like? Do you think these kind of viewpoints and opinions from various type of people do they actually bring your IG forward, or does it create greater conflict?
Yeah, I believe with a more diverse community, we would come into a lot of different viewpoints and opinions because these people come from different backgrounds, different walks of life. So, like, to tackle the situation, each individual may have different methods in which they go about it. At times, this may seem like a challenge, but for example, in Capoeira, usually whenever we come into conflicts such as this, we would come together and properly discuss. We go through, we ask everyone to list down what they feel and what they think, so that we can properly tackle the problem and come to a common solution. So everyone will be on the same page. Yeah.
I see. So y'all like brainstorm lah on what to do after that. Like when you have okay. What about Junyu?
From my point of view, having a more diverse community definitely increases the amount of viewpoints that we can gather. It creates a more realistic and effective ideas and solutions for any given topic. But when there's more viewpoints, it always creates a split among the members when deciding on something. To give example, we were supposed to come up with a logo for one of our projects. Having many different viewpoints of the thing, right? The logo is still actually ongoing. It's supposed to be settled within a week, but it's been dragging on for a month now. So having a greater diversity, a more diverse environment, definitely creates a better product, but it will take a longer time sometimes.
I see. I think that's a very interesting perspective. Like, I think I didn't really think about that, but when you have a more diverse community, there's more opinions being given, right? So obviously, it'll take a longer time.
Okay, as for Dikir Barat, right? Because definitely if you have diversity in the group, there will be many people like with different opinions, and then some want things to be done differently. So like in order for these kind of things to actually happen from our IG, right? We usually have a sharing session like at the end of every training, where we will ask if like today's training productive for them, or what are the ways they want to improve on, or what can we improve on for the training, and then what they want to learn and stuff like that. So we often encourage like our members to speak up, especially the year ones, since like we don't know them very well, so and they're very shy. So we through this we are able to encourage them to speak up more, and then from there like we know what we are lacking, and we'll improve on our side to always create different ways to make trainings very fun for our IG lah. Yeah.
I see. I think it's really good to always have that kind of reflection after your meetings and stuff, so that everyone can have a say and stuff, and everyone can actually feel that they are included. Yeah.
Agreed. So diversity truly has its cons and pros, but mostly pros. And with that, how do you unite everyone in your club and IG despite their differences in opinions and viewpoints?
Okay, so like in order for us to unite the girls, I mean like the DK Barat members, right? We always like ensure that last time before the COVID situation, one of the ways that we tried is that we like to sit in a circle during trainings to show like to share the different type of hand movements that we can use for the show or competition. And then from there, we are able to share opinions on which of the hand movements actually best fit the set. And then while the other hand movements, right, it can actually be used for other shows. So we will also sing together and help those who did not reach the key, like the person beside us, like we know that we are not on the same path, so we help one another. I think that really brought us closer, and then everyone can actually learn from one another closely. Yeah.
That's really interesting about sharing about different opinions and as well as your dances and practices.
As for sports club, to unite everyone with different opinions, it may be very fixed, but one way that it always works is always making a good work plan. Having a good work plan will be very organized throughout the process. So if there's a split in decision or opinions, right? Having a straightforward plan will keep everyone reminded of the same goal. And if everyone go off topic, just remind them of the work plan and it will go back on track.
That's a really good thing.
Yeah, I agree with what Junyu and Salma have brought up. That like having a work plan will help to keep everyone on track. especially when they have different opinions. Like as I mentioned previously, when there's instances of different opinions, different ideas coming in, and sometimes they may clash. I believe it's very important for the team to come together and sit down. But now we cannot really sit down because it's a virtual space. Like come together and discuss on how they want to tackle the situation. That way, at least everyone's opinions can be properly heard out, and they won't feel like they are being shut down by other people. Instead, they would understand that although their opinion may not be bad, but maybe it's not the best way to tackle a problem. So in this way, it allows everyone to understand each other's opinions and understand why a certain method was selected.
Agreed, truly. Conversation is really a key when participating in a diverse community. Having each member of a role on IG really talk to one another and share opinions is something that's very valued.
Okay, so like adding on to that, speaking about miscoms and stuff, right? Like, do you all face other challenges when it comes to diversity, like trying to implement diversity, ensuring that everyone mix well around with each other in the committee? Do you have like other challenges? And
For Capoeira, I would say that one challenge that we may face is when it comes to performances. Although we want to give each member an equal opportunity to have a chance to perform, have a chance to do solos, we would also have to look at their skill level. And when doing this, it may make them feel disheartened when they are not selected. Like, because maybe they are still in the process of developing their skills. However, there are still, example, people who have had more experience than them who are performing better. And in a performance standpoint, we also need to we will need to focus on how good they perform, how good they showcase themselves. Yeah. I feel like that's one of the biggest issue Capoeira has run into in terms of diversity.
I see. So it's like kind of a hierarchy thing lah. I'm pretty sure that's kind of unavoidable, you know. Okay, what about Junyu?
For challenges faced, there are generally two of them. The first one is selecting the right people for the role. Having to select people from many different backgrounds, it makes it hard to really identify which is better. Because there are many times where there may be 30 people fit for the role, but there's only 2 roles to split among the 30. Having diverse opinions also makes it hard to select the best opinion, because many of the solutions that the members provide may actually be valid, and it also may be effective. So having to select only one work plan may disappoint the rest, but it's something that has to be done. Uniting as one is something hard also, because in sports club, people from many different clubs, such as maybe from me, archery and tennis, we have a directly clashing schedule. So to come together in a meeting is almost hard, very hard. So it's either we must meet at very off times, such as 10 p.m. or maybe on a weekend. So that's some of the issues that sports club face.
I see. I think when you have different like IGs coming from different backgrounds, it's like difficult to accommodate lah to what everyone else can agree on. What about Salma?
Okay, so one of the challenges that we have been facing, I agree with Junyu and Petrie, because we're still facing problems such as like when it comes to selections for our shows or competitions. So there are individuals who are already skilled in Dikir Barat, while some are still in the progress of improving their skills. So when it comes to competition period, everyone wants to fight for their spot, and we definitely want to make everyone have equal opportunities throughout their Dikir Barat journey RP, but there's always limited spots given. So to those who did not get selected, right, this may actually dampen their spirits, and some even may decide to leave because they feel like they're not good enough for the Dikir Barat. Yeah, so it's quite a challenge to actually ensure that everyone gets equal opportunities, even though there's diversity in our IG. Yeah.
I see. I think it's really a struggle lah. I can't believe that some people will leave, but I feel like, if you communicate well enough, hopefully that they can, not feel that they are avoided or feel that they are like, not worthy enough and stuff,
Agreed. So there are will always be sacrifices when it comes to decisions revolving around diversity.
True.
So, what are some benefits of diversity that you feel your club have received or encountered?
I think for Dikir Barat, one of the benefits that I think my IG have gained would be with having like a lot of diversity in our team. We actually we have more creativity when it comes to creating sets for our shows or competition. Yeah, like I mentioned before, some of the members have music background and dance background from their previous schools or even outside team. And the members will like input what they have learned from their past experiences into our set to make our shows like more wow, like in a sense lah. And because it brings more colors into the set as well. So this is definitely one of the benefits that we gain from having diversity for Dikir Barat. Yeah.
From sports club perspective, some benefits that we often get is different viewpoints and more comprehensive thought process. Those are the standard ones, but one that I really appreciate is when we ask for something such as what can be improved upon the sports complex. People from all different environment and background will start to tell us, oh, the aircon here not working, the toilet here very disgusting, the staircase very gross. Then a lot of different perspectives start coming in, and having a diverse environment definitely help us to see further and what needs to be fixed.
As for Capoeira, we are a small group, so like we would need to appear to be very open and welcoming to be able to attract more members to join us. So I feel like this is something that diversity helps us with, because treating each other as a family and having everyone gel together quite well would give an impression to others that we are very welcoming community lah. Like sometimes it has been one of the things that has attracted more members to join us. And I feel like in the sense of individuals having different skills, we're able to achieve more at a faster pace. Like we can teach each other different skills. Example, someone who has experience in capoeira can help teach the ones that have less experience, and others with experience in things such as social media or design would be able to help produce media for the social media accounts, help to promote our open classes, our trainings, and our CCA recruitment. So overall, I feel that with all this, it can help to further push the IG further. Yeah.
I definitely agree with Petrie's point. Diversity really tries to create a family culture, having an environment where everyone feels comfortable with one another. And on top of that, it really gives everyone a more comprehensive plan, providing a wider solutions for improvements. And I really like that point.
All right. I think everyone has raised up really interesting points, and that now, since it's already 4:53 p.m., we actually reached the end of the first segment where we asked the questions about topic of diversity. So thank you so much. If the viewers out there have any questions you want to ask about sports club, about capoeira, or about Dikir Barat, please feel free to ask, or about diversity itself. Leave your questions in the chat box. All right. We'll see y'all at 5 p.m. We'll be back. Time for a short break. Bye-bye.
Change. I want this forever, just you in the grotto, with nothing but your nights on. We keep all the lights on, same again tomorrow. We don't need a bottle. Purple colored lip gloss from with the saguaro. Ain't no way I'd rather be, right here in the holidays. Coffee on the Flintstone, jewelry on the ottoman. Baby, let me in, for I get way too adamant about it. Love the way you shiver, dig into my shoulder blades. Feel it when you quiver, higher level elevate. You could be the renegade, bonding to a Clyde. Harrelson and Juliet, legends never die. The TV hasn't worked in ages, probably got a shoulder cable. Way too busy falling off the sofa or the kitchen table. Is my vision hazy? Cause you look like you're someone famous. Cause you're the next Drew Berry, and I want more. And all these other girls keep wondering what I'm loving you for. Cause you're the next you're the next strawberry. Now I'm more. Tell the girls keep what I'm looking you for. You're the next strawberry. Now I'm more. Tell the girls keep what I'm looking you for.
She's something like the summer, kinda like a hurricane sweeping through the desert. The hot Americana rain falling, wearing nothing but my Lauryn Hill shirt. It's kinda baggy on you, baby, but it worked. The AC hasn't worked in ages. I could probably read the label. Way too busy falling off the counter or the coffee table. Am I hallucinating? Why do you look hella famous? Cause you're the next strawberry, and I want more. And all these other girls keep wondering what I'm loving you for. Cause you're the next strawberry, and I want more. And all these other girls keep wondering what I'm loving you for.
Cause you're the next strawberry. Now I'm more. Tell the girls keep what I'm looking you for. You're the next strawberry. Now I'm more. Tell the girls keep what I'm looking you for.
I want this forever, just you in the grotto, with nothing but your nights on. We keep all the lights on, same again tomorrow. We don't need no bottle. Purple colored lip gloss from with the saguaro. Ain't nowhere I'd rather be, right here in the holidays. Coffee on the Flintstone, jewelry on the ottoman. Baby, let me in, for I get way too adamant about it. Love the way you shiver, dig into my shoulder blades. Feel it when you quiver, a higher level elevate. You could be the renegade, born into a god. Harrison and Juliet, legends never die. The TV hasn't worked in ages, probably got a shoulder cable. Way too busy falling off the sofa or the kitchen table. Is my vision hazy? Cause you look like you're someone famous.
Cause you're the next strawberry. Now I'm more. Tell the girls keep what I'm looking you for. You're the next strawberry. Now I'm more. Tell the girls keep what I'm looking you for.
You're the next strawberry, and I want more. And all these other girls keep wondering what I'm loving you for. Cause you're the next strawberry, and I want more. And all these other girls keep wondering what I'm loving you for.
Jim O'Donnell's TV 10 weather is brought to you by the Union National Bank, the bank for all seasons. So, our chances of rain. You're not supposed to come on smiling if people don't know what you're smiling at. Well, if we want to show, go ahead and show them what you're smiling.
It's late.
Yeah.
We were joking. Well, now we can't show them. Today, however, very, very pleasant reading. 73 up in the Midland area, 72 in Garden City, 70 reported by Dodge City Liberal, 72 also.
Yeah. On the real, baby, feeling like you and me click. I don't really care about what you're doing, but you did it. You elusive and exclusive for the ones you let in. VIP from first sight with the blue ribbon green, you a hustler. Walking with all the swagger, you thinking you can muster. Darling, you don't ever need a touch up. In the right light and you the thunder. Guaranteed to make my whole summer. What's up? Moving with the purity and nuns with the body like a goddess. Aphrodite, kinda mighty when you flaunt it. Being really honest is the problem, how you haunt it. Thinking that you're flawless, baby, you just awesome. Got me starstruck, see your face big bright like the sun in the night. You stalk my dreams, thinking there should never be a you without me. But it seems, keep it clean, baby girl, always making me sing like. You say that I'm on when it's true, feeling like this shouldn't be a me without you. Yeah, you say you're committed, but I know that's loosely. Either way, it's cool, we can revel in the youth. And I'm feeling like a Martian, maybe I'm a star child. If you wanna love me, baby, maybe we can start now. It ain't really hard now, my heart is out of my chest. But we clicking, then we click, then I know you're the best. Like, I wanna show you the best life, wanna make you the best wife. Even my man's height, he like you best try. And I would lie to say I cried whenever it's not you and I. But even so, 1,000 times I've dreamt of making you all mine. So won't you please give me some time? And I know everything that glitters isn't gold. Every word I sing isn't vinyl. But baby, your decisions are never final. And you choose to do what you want when you want to, ignoring the things that you have to do. So baby, come with me, what do you have to lose?
sauna in the summer. I'm just trying to find a better way to be an up and comer. If you playing Dumb and Dumber, we can play it with each other. Introduce me to your mother, bet I kill it undercover. Record spinning like my head when you hit me on the text. Taking kisses in your bed, we can lay under the covers and pen out our own melodies. Poetry that you send to me sweeter than every jelly bean. Seeing you on the LCD. Love it when you hit my phone, but I'm just trying to hold your hand. Ask me if I want you most, and I said yeah.
Okay, hey y'all, welcome back. Here's the second segment where we have like a Q&A session from the audience. Please leave your questions if you are curious in any of these IGs, or if you are just curious about the topic in general or about leadership. So I think we actually had our first question just now. Let me just check. Is it from, okay, it's from Lala Land. What an interesting name. But the question is, as leaders, y'all will probably have certain biases within your committee. So how do y'all manage with these preferences that y'all have? I think preferences meaning like when it comes to picking people for events and shows, I think.
From a sports club, having a bias is definitely a part of the process because we are from, for example, I'm from archery. I would definitely be biased towards the facility side of the sports complex, while people from bowling, maybe they will favor the budget side of the sports complex. So to manage this biasness, generally we will often put it out in the open and for everyone to view. So you have to second think your thoughts before you say it out. And when we do catch a bias, we will generally approach it in a very nice manner. So we will tell them like, hey, isn't this a bit too bowling? Okay.
Yeah. I agree. Like, imagine if you just approach someone who's biased or something and just be like, hey, like, you want to fight? Is it? No lah. Confirm it will start more conflict, right, in the future. So what about Salma and Petrie?
I think for TKRP, our committee is we're very bonded. Yeah, before we became committee as an understanding, we went through a lot together. So our bond there is very tight, and as friends, we understand each other very well. Of course, there were times there will be conflicts and stuff, but we managed to resolve it by like always talking things out. Yeah, when we know that there are certain things that we are not happy about, we always like, yeah, so we always have meetings like late at night to just ensure that like example for the welfare part, everything is okay, and then for the training side, they're also okay and doing well, stuff like that. Yeah. So I think communication is very important, and there shouldn't be any biases lah. As a community, you should be bonded. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. I think communication is in fact key when dealing with biases or even conflicts. Okay, Petrie?
I would agree with what Salma and Junyu have mentioned. Like whenever we encounter bias, we will need to approach them in a proper manner. Like we cannot just be very direct to them, telling them that they are biased or anything. And I feel like we should talk it out instead of accusing them. Maybe we should understand why they are acting this way. So like we communicate with each other, understand why this person acts this way. Then maybe if we can help this person, we help them. And maybe if their request is too biased, maybe we can give them a smaller version of what they requested. That's what I feel.
Okay, that's interesting. So like if someone asks for too much, then you like try to accommodate and give something that is more realistic lah. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like we give them something that they requested, but in a more realistic scale.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's true as well. So I hope that answers your question, La La Land. Interesting username choice. Okay, what about Garrick? Is there other questions from the viewers? Oh, Garrick. Is Garrick lagging? Or is it just me?
Hi,
Cannot
Jane.
hear
Let's see
him,
he's
right?
there.
Oh no, okay. We'll just wait for him lah. Or should I ask the question? Okay, I think I'm just gonna ask. Okay, so the question is, do you think diversity is a key element in shaping your club/IG?
Of course it is lah. It is definitely a key element to make your IG grow or move forward because diversity helps to prevent your IG from like staying stagnant. Yeah, and with different experiences, people can actually share their experience. I mean, like people can actually share their experiences, and then while the others can actually gain from it. So for Dikir Barat, like I mentioned just now, there are people who are already skilled, who are like an experienced, while some of them are like have zero knowledge or skills. So when they share their tips on how they manage to improve or what they can improve on how they can improve themselves, they will actually grow together as a team. Yeah, and actually that shows how diversity will help your IG to always keep moving forward. Yeah.
As for me, the key elements for whether diversity is key element is definite yes. So from sports club, to give some perspective, every year we will come up with a new initiative where we will make a difference that's unique to that year to the sports community. Having diverse environment helps to keep everything fresh and effective. To give an example, last year there was a policy being passed that we can wear slippers in sports complex. So this is a very big thing for RP, and it took a lot of effort from our senior batch to push for this initiative. Having a diverse environment definitely helps with coming up with how to persuade Mr. Ganesh on how to pass the slipper rules lah. So yeah.
Ooh, slippers for the win, man. Okay, Petrie?
For me, I also believe that diversity is one of the key elements to shape a club or IG. Because like as Salma has mentioned just now, people with different skills can help to teach others. Like as I mentioned also previously, the ones that are more trained in capoeira, they can help the others that are still lagging behind. Like example in capoeira, maybe this person is very good with their kicks. And he can help this other group of people develop their kicks even further, and we can push our IG to higher levels, so we can improve together at a good pace.
I think like all IGs and clubs are very interdependent, meaning like, okay, let's say if, for example, if I don't know this skill, but Garrick knows what to do about it, then obviously I will approach Garrick and Garrick will help me, right? So I think that is how all IGs and clubs grow forward lah. Because even if, let's say, I don't think even as myself, if I don't, like, if I move everything by myself, then it's going to be very difficult and it's going to be very slow because there are some things that I know that there's some things that I don't know that Garrick knows, and there are some things that Garrick doesn't know that I know, you know? Yeah, but yeah lah. That's my point. I think Garrick will proceed with the next question. Oh no, Garrick, we still cannot hear you. Do you want to try again? Your mic was already unmuted, but there was still no sound. No, we cannot hear you still. Oh no, okay, then I think I'm just gonna continue with the 10th question. Is that okay? Okay, I mean the next question, lol. But the question is, give me a sec, yeah. Okay. All right. So the question is, how do you ensure that your year ones mix well together, especially during this time?
Yeah, for this time, we know it's hard because we are not allowed to like physically meet up due to all the social distancing restrictions and maximum groups of 5. So like
That's true.
big groups, big clubs would struggle especially. So for capoeira, even though we are a small group, we are still more than 5, so we cannot meet up physically. So like after trainings, we would usually have a separate Microsoft Teams call where we can talk to the year ones, interact with them. We can even joke around with them also a bit, ask them how they are doing. So they feel like there's someone out there in the IG that generally would care for them, is looking out for them, make sure that they are doing okay in the IG. And I believe that this was one of the things that helped us develop a bond we have, because recently we had gone back to school for physical training. Like finally come back to school, and there was not much awkwardness among us and the juniors. I feel like all these Microsoft Team calls and talking to them has made them feel like less awkward with us, more comfortable in the environment that we provide with them. Yeah. Then similarly for one event we did in the past was also for Ignite. We had a watch party where we played games together. I believe that one also had helped to boost our bond with them. They will feel like I feel that helped to help them believe that we are not all very serious. We have times where we can just joke around and play around with them.
It's a really
I think.
interesting way to really
Oh
make
yes,
the
we can
year
finally
one
hear
begin
Garrick.
well. Oh, finally.
Okay, but yeah, you wanna continue? Okay,
But
Cap.
yeah, it was really interesting for such clubs to really have initiatives to allow year ones and the seniors to really mix well together. So yeah.
Okay. As for sports club, generally it's all year twos. So there are some people that know each other already. So I'll use archery as example. For archery in year one, in the COVID period, it's actually hard to keep people to let the year ones mix around in diverse environment, because we had a intake of around 100 plus, and the method we used to try to mix them together is we split the people by gender and race, so people will be split evenly among their groups, and so there won't be like a whole gang Chinese together So generally it's a okay solution to the situation But the real difficulty comes when the CCA training starts. Archery being the first 9 CCA to start on-site training. So about a month ago, right? We have to start training, and we had around intake. We have around a population of around 80 still, so there's still quite a lot of people to deal with, and the situation doesn't make it easy when we have to restrict to a five per group rule, and there's no intermingling. So it really hinders the solutions that we have to help them mix around. The real method is that we keep to the same group that we have online and cut it into half, so they will be in the same group together. As previously mentioned, one way to help anyone actually to unite together and mix around is having a common goal. So for archery, we are currently having a intra group competition. The reward being $100 dinner voucher, so that everyone when they start having when they start seeing the goal in mind and they want to have it right, they will start to communicate more and they will start to be competitive. Being a sports, it's normal to be competitive, but it's also good that they are mixing around while being competitive.
Wow, I think I really want can you sign me up for the $100 voucher? Cause wow, I think $100 dinner voucher is a very attractive price. Yeah, that's why everyone will also be motivated and stuff. I think by having a kind of price and something that people can actually look forward to, they'll work towards it lah. Okay, what about Salma?
Okay, so as for the KRP, right, before the COVID situation, we actually gather every time after training or like shows, competition, like both Endang and Wira will actually sit at Titanic to have like a meal together. So that's how like, I think everyone got closer and become bonded over time when I was like in year one lah. But because of COVID, we cannot gather anymore. So we made use of what we have like online to still gather and like continue the tradition. Yeah, so our advisors actually created a DKRP group on MS Team, and we created channels for like Indang and Mira's training. And there's another channel called Titanic. Yeah, so we use that channel to just like hang out, and then we do our IG or assignments together. And then at first, the year ones were shy and like to talk, but then like because we encourage them to speak up more, right? So eventually they open up, and then they even ask questions to seniors like, how is it like to be a DKRC member, you know? And then eventually they talk to one another, like the year ones to year ones. Yeah, and then they even open up a group on their own now. I think that's how they manage to communicate. And then like, this is how we ensure that even though we don't get to meet often anymore, I mean like for now lah. Like we still make use of what we have, like Zoom or MS Team, to make sure that they are always communicating with one another and like have that bond and connection. Yeah.
Wow. If I'm not wrong, Titanic is the area at Woodlands Interchange, right? It's the one where y'all can sit down and just sit in a circle and just vibe and bond with each other. I think it's very interesting. It's very adorable how y'all actually made a MS Teams group for Titanic to just like despite everything and how y'all can actually go to Titanic itself, why not we bring Titanic to us, and just create a whole MS Teams so that y'all can bond better. And communication and stuff really takes a long way lah. And when y'all encourage the year ones to speak up, I think it's good that in the end they also feel comfortable enough to come and share their issues or communicate with y'all and get to know more about the IG itself. So yeah.
Agreed. Those are some really inspiring methods that leaders have done. So another question from La La Land is that what has inspired you guys to really take up your leadership roles?
I really love the name, man.
Inspiration for picking up roles. Okay. The main drive for me is actually to really expand my skill sets. Cause from personal experience lah, in secondary school or primary school, I never had a leadership role in my life lah, throughout. So being in RP was sort of like a first opportunity for me to open up to leadership positions. So I ran for it, and some was successful, some was not. But generally, having open up to leadership experience is definitely a good choice on my part, because I got to learn a lot and mature a lot as a person, and having to know that I seek this kind of thing makes me happy. Yeah. Another reason may be more simple is portfolio lah. I mean, I think everyone here can relate lah. Portfolio is very important. So this is part of the reason.
Interesting.
Okay, as for me, the reason why I decided to take up the VP role was because of my passion for Dikir Barat. When I first entered Dikir Barat, I was like a very shy girl, like to like just try things out because my friends encouraged me to go for the trial. Then eventually, like I grew fond of whatever that they are doing in Dikir Barat. So like I become more bonded with my friends, and then like it made me realize that having this VP role, like a VP role, like made me step out of my comfort zone more also. Yeah. So from being someone who like choose who to socialize with, I eventually like become someone who wants to socialize with everybody. And then like I think I grew a lot lah as a person and as a person who wants to learn more about Dikir Barat. Yeah. So I think that's the reason why I chose this role in the end.
True. Leadership sometimes actually results in passion, and it's a really great way to really drive your own portfolio as well as your own personal development.
As for me, what drove me to take up the role of president in Capoeira was that because when I first joined, my batch wasn't very big. It's like we easily managed to bond together. Then basically, through this, I just wanted to be there for them. I wanted to help them out, make sure we all stick together through the journey. Because we know that leading an IG or a club isn't going to be easy. So I just wanted to make sure that I was there for them. I wanted to be there for them, go through all the challenges we go through together. Because as I mentioned, in Capoeira, we treat each other as family. So I wanted to be there for them, like how a family would. Yeah. And I would say that being in this leadership role has improved myself. I have become a better person, I believe. My confidence has gone up. I feel that my confidence has gone up, and I develop more skills like in designing and being more organized as a person in general.
Agreed. Some really heartwarming words to really treat everyone as family and to get better with everyone. I agree. So I'd like to even jump on this. So what inspired me to really take up my position as the Vice President of Student Council was not only just about the portfolio and really improving oneself, but it's really about demonstrating to my own self-worth that I can do what I want to do. I can seek that this perfection that I'm aiming for. Although you'll never really get there, there's no such thing as perfection, but you can always aim and strive to reach a greater height than you originally were today.
I agree. I really agree. I think to add on to that, I feel like it was really a platform lah for us to just um explore ourselves and get to greater heights and gain more skill sets like how Petrie gained more confidence, and the same for Salma and as well as Junyu to learn more about the skill sets through sports club and even through archery. For like fun fact, Junyu is actually also the captain of archery IG. So wow, that's a lot of commitments. But speaking about commitments and stuff, we have a question sent to us privately. How do y'all deal with time management, especially having this kind of position and with your roles and stuff, and dealing with your committee and also GAs and assignments in school?
When it comes to scheduling, it's my passion. I love scheduling. So having many roles, right? The schedule look like this lah. You look kind of disgusting. So it's like, oh, it's just a clump. It's just a mess. You will never, the food crap. You'll just be a pile of mess lah. One way to really manage your roles and your studies is really to plan forward, plan ahead, and always create buffer time. So, for example, for studies, right, you have to really study weeks before the actual lesson itself, because things may come out last minute or like responsibilities may just appear out of nowhere and you have to pick it up because you are in the role. The issue about time management is the simple thing is actually really to know what's going on and do not forget a single thing. Because once you know that the thing is there, right, you should really commit to the certain role. There are times when things clash, so it's like maybe my archery and my sports club thing crash. When it clashes, you have to really commit to both somehow. I'm not sure how, but depending on the situation, usually you have to commit to both in a certain manner. So maybe if archery I had to lead training, I'll go for training, but I'll be missing sports club training. So afterwards, I'll be looking at the summary of the meeting minute and I'll add in what I thought of it. So you have to really think of it as it's not really to give a half-ass effort to things. You have to really give all your best to both all commitment, studies, family, relationship, or commitment, anything.
That's true lah. I definitely agree with that. I think one thing that I can relate to as well is the fact that sometimes when you put stuff, when you think okay, like you already have this to, and then you might forget to put them in your planner or calendar, and then what if something else just overlaps and you just forget about everything, and it just becomes very messy. So I think it's really important to just when you have something already planned, it's already scheduled, just put it in your calendar, and then you won't forget about it, and you will be like, oh, okay, wait, I already have something here today. Let's postpone for another day or something like that. What about Salma and Petrie?
Okay, so for me, I feel like as leader, there's a lot of sacrifices you have to be made. So like for me, GA, I always make sure that I don't do it the night before. I make sure that I do bit by bit over in the whole week, I do bit by bit every single day. So by the time deadline, I'm like done with it already. And then as for like how I want to make sure that I go as planned, like everything is planned, I also have a calendar on my own because I'm a very forgetful person. I procrastinate a lot. So I make sure that my timing, I put inside my calendar from this time to this time. I have a meeting with my committee. Then I cannot clash with like the time I want to go out. Yeah. So the sacrifice I meant was that you definitely want to spend time with your family. You want to spend time with your friends. So during the day, I might spend the whole day with my friends, and then at night I will still need to like be awake to make sure that I go for my meeting. Yeah, or like sometimes my friends want to like hang out until like late night, right? But I cannot. I have to go home because I have a meeting to go to. Yeah, so I think that's the sacrifices you have to make, but still manage to balance all parts of your life. Yeah, that's how I manage.
That's true. Even sometimes, right, when I have meetings, I'm outside and I'll just be having to say like, oh wait, give me an hour. We just sit down here first, then I'll just actually join the meeting outside. Because that's what you have to do, you really gotta sacrifice sometimes. And even though you have to make this sacrifice, I'm pretty sure it is worth it in the end. Okay, what about Petrie?
For me, I agree with points that Junyu and Salma have brought up. Like it's really important to put things in a planner to plan ahead because like you never know what's gonna pop up also. Like you could have suddenly have a meeting pop up on the day you didn't have anything and you have to sacrifice that whole day to make sure you come for that meeting. Because being put in a leadership position although some may see it as like something a responsibility, you should take it as your responsibility rather than a burden on your back. Because as a leader, you are there to lead your club or IG. So like you are there to push it to greater heights. So like for me personally, I can relate back to this time management issue, especially during Reflections Arts Festival last year when Muse was happening. Because I was part of several different items. So like I had to sacrifice. Like sometimes if you have things that clash, you would need to uh, tell the people in charge and say that you can only make it from this time to this time. Then the other time you have to go for this other thing. Like you need to properly plan out everything. As long as you plan out, I feel like your time management should be okay.
I guess like a takeaway we can have from this question is actually basically just own a planner. It's really, really, really useful when you're a leader, or basically when you have other things that to commit to, you get to keep everything in track. So what about Mr. VP over here, Garrick? What about you? How do you deal with time management?
All right, so yeah, like the points they've mentioned, I do agree wholeheartedly with them. It's very important about time management to really schedule your own things. Every event should, if they ever overlap, you should always inform whoever is, in charge, and always like to plan out every event, every activity in order. And another thing is to always communicate. If you have something on, communicate to people in charge. If not, inform the people that you are alliancing with and tell them that, I will be busy from this time to time and I hope that you can reschedule. So communication is very important. It helps to maintain relationships, goes for better efficiency and productivity, and most importantly, it builds relationships much further.
That's true. I agree. And with that, we have actually come to the end of our 1 hour live session about diversity. I think what I just want to say is the takeaway we can have from this is that when you have a diverse committee in your IG or club, it actually helps bring about different various viewpoints and opinions that can actually be strengths, push your IG or club forward. And those are actually vital because, without those kind of differences, you can't actually make your IG move forward. And by having a whole IG by yourself, it's really difficult and it will be very slow. So other than that is to own a planner because a planner is very important and you can also track your stuff. So I would just like to take my time to thank Salma, Vice President of Dikir Barat, Petrie, President of Capoeira, and also Junyu, Vice President of Sports Club. Thank you so much for coming down. I hope you all enjoyed and you all have learned something today. To the audiences viewing, please feel free to approach any of us or you can approach Republic Poly Student IG. You can just hit us with a DM if you have any more questions, and please tune in to the next episode next week on 17th September, our 8th episode. That's all from us. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.